Small actions, big difference. We tend to think only a special person can make a big difference in the world. We are just ordinary people, so changing the world is someone else's job, not ours. Sometimes, however, it takes an act as small as giving a pencil to a child to make a difference in someone's life. Here's a true story about a young man who has changed many children's lives. It all started with giving a pencil. When Adam Brown was a child, his father would constantly remind him, "We Browns are different." His father himself showed examples of how to be different. For example, he did not give his children cash for good grades and spend half of the family's holiday budget on charity. It was natural that Adam followed his father's examples and tried to make a difference to his surroundings. That was why he was always interested in people. He wanted to know what people thought, what they valued, and what they wanted. Out of a burning desire to see the world, he took a college program in which students travel around the world and become acquainted with other cultures. While others on the tour collected gifts at each place they visited, Adam did something different. He wanted to know the people who lived in that place, so he decided he would ask one child per country, "If you could have anything in the world, what would you want most?" He was surprised at the answers he received. Never a computer, a TV, or a car, but to dance, a book, or for my mother to be well. One of the answers in particular surprised him and eventually led him to change the course of his life, a pencil. It was a reply from a boy in India. He wanted an education, a chance to become different. Realizing that he could change a child's life and open a world of possibilities with something as small as a pencil, Adam began carrying a pack of pencils and giving them to children along the way. Whenever he gave out pencils, the children seemed to come alive, delighted to have a chance to learn. That was the start of Adam's plan to build schools for people who want to get an education, but who cannot afford one. Charity should be not about just giving to the poor and creating a cruel cycle of dependence, but about enabling them, Adam thought. While working on Wall Street after college, Adam set up Pencils of Promise, a non-profit organization that aims to build schools and support teachers in developing countries. His first project was to build a school in Laos, one of the countries he had visited during his college program. First of all, Adam needed adequate funding and volunteers. His fundraising efforts included some fresh ideas and the active participation of his friends. For example, he turned his birthday party into a charity event and collected donations at the party instead of birthday presents. Another time, he asked his friends to make a music video to publicize a Halloween party held as a fundraiser. All of the donations would go to the construction of schools. Eventually, people began to ask Adam how they could get involved with Pencils of Promise. When Adam and Pencils of Promise started building their first school in Laos, the Lao government promised to send teachers to the school after its completion. The local villagers promised to contribute to its construction. Because they had little money, they instead supplied raw materials and labor. When Adam saw two elderly ladies carrying a heavy piece of wood, he went over to try to tell them they might hurt themselves. They smiled and said something to Adam. The translator told Adam that they had been waiting their whole lives for this opportunity to have a school. One day, during the construction period, 3 shy little girls approached Adam to say hello. He could recognize the joy on their faces. They were really happy to have the opportunity to go to school. Adam recorded the girls on his video recorder, and the video spread quickly on social media, leading to comments and emails from friends and strangers alike asking how they could get involved in giving this joy to children across the world. As the number of schools grew, it was becoming difficult for Adam to put his energy into both his job and his work for Pencils of Promise. That was why he began to consider quitting his job. It was not easy, of course. He had a good reputation at work and was about to be promoted. It was clear that his company would have no problem finding someone else to replace him if he quit. Pencils of Promise, however, would not succeed if it did not get his full attention. After much thought, he decided to follow his inner voice and left his job. Between 2009 and 2015, Adams Pencils of Promise built more than 300 schools. It has become a huge project in which thousands of volunteers participate in many ways. To this day, it continues to build schools, support teachers, and provide scholarships to children, giving local children and communities opportunities to be different and make a difference to the world. Further reading. Helpers High. The benefits of helping. Helping others is commonly thought of as a selfless act that benefits the others. A growing body of research suggests, however, that helpers themselves may gain more from their good acts than those who are helped. Why is this? First, helping someone releases endorphins. The positive energy that you feel from doing a good act can influence your body in much the same way that exercise does, releasing endorphins that make you feel good. That is why the rush that helpers sometimes experience after performing a good act is referred to as the helper's high. It also makes you appreciate what you have. Sometimes we experience the grass is greener on the other side of the fence feeling. Because good acts are often done for those in need, however, helping others usually reminds you that you are actually leading a decent life. Another benefit from helping others is the distraction you get from your own problems. Focusing on someone else can actually pull you away from your own anxiety and problems. For example, when people with medical conditions counsel other patients, the counselors often find their own conditions improve. Studies have found also that volunteers tend to live longer and healthier lives than those who do not volunteer. Not everyone benefits from helping though. For those who have problems with time management, adding more things on their to-do list will not benefit them. Also, when helping the disadvantaged, the sadness of the situations can have more of a negative than a positive impact on some helpers. A good rule of thumb for everyone is to exercise moderation. Do what you can to help others, but be careful not to take on too much. Otherwise, you may become the one who needs help.